comfortable with the staff. I respect them, and they respect me. I see that all of them can stand and walk, for better or worse. What this miracle is, I don't know. I too came here with my arm hanging limp, my legs dangling. But now I can stand and walk. I take my walk in the garden, and it's wonderful.
For people like us, the most important thing is strength of will. Here at Don Gnocchi, I have improved and continue to improve.
Though our daughter's illness is so severe she won't recover completely, she always comes home cheerful and serene because she can socialize and live her life like other people.
A facility that takes the girls swimming, on outings, to the theater. Do any other facilities like this exist?
The Don Gnocchi Foundation. In support of life, always. A video by Carlo and Paola De Biase. Text Emanuele Brambilla. Editing Giacomo De Biase. Original music Roberto Anselmi. Production Don Carlo Gnocchi Foundation. It's the work of a saint, dreamed of, willed and created by Don Gnocchi, an exceptional man and an extraordinary priest, solemnly proclaimed blessed on 25th October 2009 at the end of a rigorous process that took 22 years. This work of charity began in the most dramatic days of Russia's withdrawal during the Second World War. A volunteer chaplain, Don Carlo, who had headed for the front with his beloved Tridentine Alpine soldiers, and who miraculously escaped death, was seeking desperately to make sense of that tragic triumph of hatred and suffering. Carlo was born in San Colombano at Lambro, near Lodi, on 25th October 1902. A priest of the Ambrosian diocese and assistant in the oratory for a few years, he was then named spiritual director of the Gonzaga Institute in Milan, run by the Brothers of the Christian Schools. He served as a volunteer chaplain for the Alpine troops on the Greek-Albanian front and during the Russian campaign. When the war ended, he gathered the orphans of the soldiers and children wounded by bombs, thus beginning the work that would earn him the title of Father of the Crippled Children. He died prematurely in Milan on 28 February 1956. His last prophetic gesture was the donation of his corneas to 2 blind children when organ transplants had not yet been legalized in Italy. From the Pro Infanzia Mutilata Federation to the Pro Juventute Foundation to the Don Gnocchi Foundation, the work of Don Carlo gradually expanded its sphere of action over 60 years, continuing to respond to the needs of the most fragile, often with measures that have been innovative and experimental. Today, the Don Gnocchi Foundation numbers over 5,400 operators and divides its commitments among 6 spheres of activity: health and rehabilitation, social assistance, social and educational services, training and development, scientific research and technology, international solidarity. Health and rehabilitation. In the past few years, health activities have continued to expand significantly, both in numbers and in illnesses treated. Services include hospital care, residential and day hospitals, outpatient hospital facilities, and home care. Most services are for rehabilitation. Hospital rehabilitation is of a high standard of quality and is supported and reinforced by vast research activity. Care is provided for patients with severe pathologies including trauma, stroke, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's. which require complex neuromotor rehabilitation strategies. Qualified cardio-respiratory rehabilitation is also provided, in cooperation with the most advanced cardiac and thoracic surgery wards and intensive orthopedic rehabilitation. All the centres provide extensive rehabilitation for handicapped persons and those with complex disabilities. To support its health services, the Foundation has developed an extensive network of multi-specialized outpatient clinics, analysis laboratories and diagnostic imaging services, which also carry on qualified basic and applied research. Social assistance. Since the 1980s, the Foundation has expanded its services to care for the elderly, especially those who cannot take care of themselves, in order to meet a need that has become a priority in our society. Today, care for the elderly is one of the Foundation's most important activities and offers a real model of reference, a network concept that makes the best use of alternative solutions to residential healthcare centres. These include day centres, home care, relief hospitalisation and outreach services. This also involves the experience of social health and welfare caretakers in Milan and other cities to intercept the needs of elderly persons who live alone or are ill, as well as disabled persons and their families who live in precarious or hardship conditions. Recently, the Foundation's care services have been expanded to include terminal cancer patients by setting up residential centres for palliative care, hospice home care, and assistance to patients in coma. Social and educational services. Providing education for disabled young people was Don Gnocchi's prophetic vision and is the Foundation's central mission. This continues with renewed commitment, combining quality with the spirit of service, scientific innovation and outreach. The centres are set up with special nurseries and elementary schools, social and educational centres, daycare, residential facilities and housing communities. For the disabled and their families, the staff at Don Gnocchi offers invaluable educational support and assistance. Competence, experimentation and pedagogical innovation are geared toward welcoming those who use these services and responding to their needs. Development of capabilities, independence, training, integration in the workplace and social settings, housing in a family atmosphere, rehabilitation, assistance, planning of free time and weekend activities, after us projects, coping with a lack of family support. Training and development. The Foundation is intensely committed to training. The ongoing training division manages, coordinates and develops all activities dealing with the Don Gnocchi staff and outside participants. One significant part is National and Regional Continuing Education in Medicine, ECM, which the Foundation runs as a body recognized by the Health Ministry and some regions. Under the auspices of the School of Medicine at the University of Milan, the Foundation runs 6 3-year degree programs in the health professions. It also offers apprentice training for teaching college degrees and specialization schools, advanced postgraduate courses, and specialization master's programs. In the area of professional training, the Foundation offers courses for the physically, mentally, and sensorially disabled, along with constantly monitored projects geared to help them enter the workforce. There are also courses for professionals who work with disabilities and welfare, and courses for school staff aimed at support measures. For years, the Don Gnocchi Foundation has participated in initiatives promoted by the European Community for Training Disadvantaged Persons to join the workforce. In addition, the Foundation provides counselling for public and private bodies and institutions at the international level as well. Scientific and technological research. The Foundation is strong in the area of research, especially in the IRCCS centres, scientific hospitalization and care institutes in Milan and Florence. In connection with many universities and national and international organizations, these centers specialize in the sectors of biomedicine, biotechnology, and clinical experimentation to discover new methods and new technologies for rehabilitation and reducing disability conditions. Research, with its vast spin-off applications, is constantly interrelated with clinical and care activities. This multidisciplinary approach has led to advanced projects in bioengineering, experimentally tested, for example, by NASA and in recent expeditions to the Everest Nature Laboratory, and the neurology, orthopedics and cardio-respiratory sectors. The Technological Division in Milan is an interdisciplinary department focusing on research, application and training in advanced technologies for medicine and rehabilitation. The IRCCS in Milan includes a DAT service, which is set up as an automated home, equipped with the most sophisticated technological devices to serve persons with disabilities, and the SIVA, Italy's major network of guidance and counselling in choosing types of assistance, supported by an internet portal that integrates similar experiences in European community countries, thanks to the Don Gnocchi Foundation. On the technology front, through Don Gnocchi Systems Limited, the Foundation promotes and develops projects on computer and telematic innovations to support health and assistance activities. International solidarity. International in its outreach, the Don Gnocchi Foundation has expanded its field of interventions beyond national borders in recent years, in a context of public and private initiatives, particularly where need is greatest and least addressed. Recognized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a non-governmental organization, NGO, the Foundation has exploited its experiences and the generosity of its operators by setting up assistance and rehabilitation facilities for disabled children and education centers and schools in Bosnia-Herzegovina and Ecuador, with development follow-up, with orthopedic pediatric surgery and rehabilitation centers in Rwanda and Sierra Leone, and by supporting human promotion and training projects in matters of disability in Kosovo, Georgia, Tibet, and Sri Lanka. New measures are underway and in the planning stages in many other developing countries. In all the centres, the support of religious and nuns is fundamental. Some congregations have worked side by side with the Foundation for decades, while others have come on board more recently. Invaluable support is provided by groups of volunteers and civil service volunteers. The Foundation recognises volunteer work as a valuable pedagogical tool, as it meets the real needs of society and educates people to live more responsibly. The great celebration for Don Gnocchi's beatification was an opportunity to point up the extraordinary timeliness of the founder's thinking and the significance of his work, which is increasingly committed in Italy and throughout the world to promoting a new awareness of man's needs and creating appropriate and qualified services to help the less fortunate. Today, the Don Gnocchi Foundation is accredited with the National Health Service in 28 centres, spread out over 9 regions. These facilities offer a multitude of services, which can be summed up as follows. 2 institutes for hospitalization and scientific care, IRCCS in Italian, 22 multifunctional rehabilitation centres, 11 hospital rehabilitation units, 3 severe cerebral lesion units, 7 residences for elderly persons in need of assistance, RSA, 1 hospice for terminal cancer patients, 2 care homes, 38 territorial outpatient rehabilitation clinics, 1 centre for training, guidance and development, 3 integrated day centres for the elderly, CDI, 5 day centres for the disabled, CDD, 3 residential clinics for the disabled, RSD, 1 relief home for the disabled, 3,807 overnight and day hospital beds, 9,000 persons cared for each day on average. Monsignor Angelo Bazzari, President, Don Gnocchi Foundation.
Noi eredi e continuatori di questa
Don Carlo Gnocchi was always at the service of life. On the occasion of his beatification, we who have inherited and who continue in this mission seek inspiration in a slogan: in support of life, always, meaning support of the life of persons as a whole. So we have taken the foundation to life's most disastrous frontiers, and from beginning to end, from cradle to tomb, we seek to use all the technological means at our disposal, the latest scientific discoveries, but above all, we seek to extend love in charity, as Don Gnocchi said, and by striving in this way, we can better serve those in greatest need.
In its vast variety of activities today, as it did 50 years ago, the Don Gnocchi Foundation, following Blessed Don Carlo's message, hopes to be a beacon to society, in which might, too often, makes right, showing that we need to begin with the last and the weakest, that the needs of others are a common duty, and that love, and only love, can serve life and save mankind. With courage and faith, as Don Carlo mentioned in this recording.
But when I remember how, when I started, I said without thinking, with those 100 children, without knowing how much a pair of socks or a kilo of bread cost, but thanks to the Lord and those who helped me, the friends, the government, the authorities, I said we'd almost solved the problem of disabled children. I think we can make another act of faith.
Today, the Don Gnocchi Foundation is at the forefront of caring for persons of all ages who require rehabilitative therapy. As I greet Cardinal Tettamanzi, Archbishop of Milan, and I rejoice along with the entire Ambrosian Church, I make the motto of this beatification my own: in support of life, always.